The show is African Fiesta, coming to you from Columbus, Ohio. Okay, so we're still talking about women, and we have Clementina Yong. She is a Cameroonian journalist, and she is the officer, the communication officer at the Cameroon Baptist Convention Health Services. Yes, communication officer, Cameroon Baptist Convention Health Services. She's based in Bamenda, Cameroon. And from her, we are going to find out just how involved are the women of that region in the news media. And from Bamenda, Clementina now joins us. Clementina Yang, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much, NS Kanjo. It is my pleasure to be a guest on the program today.
So, how is Bamenda today?
I would say Bamenda is very good.
Okay.
The dry season is intensifying, and it is pretty cold early in the morning and late in the evening.
Right.
But the sunshine is really that hot.
Wow, that's great. Meanwhile, in the United States, especially where I live, the weather is not the best. Okay, that notwithstanding, we're making it pretty good on the airwaves. That is on Apex One Radio. Now, Clementina, like I said, you are the communication officer at the Cameroon Baptist Convention Health Services. Am I right?
Yes, you're very right.
And you've also been quite involved in women's affairs and also women in the media. And we are looking at this latest study by the Global Media Monitoring Project, which says that only 24% of women are represented in the news media. And I know you are aware of that study. I've just been talking with Dr. Lillian Njang, and we've been trying to analyze it. But first, Clementina, are you surprised by these statistics?
Actually, when I saw the findings, I wasn't that very surprised.
Okay.
Because it is what I've personally observed across a few years. And what I can say surprises me a little bit is the fact that it is not only in Cameroon, it is not only in the Northwest region per se, it is something that is global. That is where my worry is.
So what is your take on these findings generally?
Actually, my take on those statistics, I will just say that it is representative, because it is what obtains almost everywhere.
Okay.
Since I think that if you look at the situation in Cameroon as well, if you look at the situation in the Northwest region, it is the same, and it is actually a worrisome issue. And we know that in the print media in particular, we have fewer women representing the media in that particular domain. And even if you have to look at women being news sources, we have very few women who are news sources in the Northwest region. And I think that something really needs to be done to change this scenario. And I think that we women need to change it. It is we the women that need to change it. We are not supposed to wait for somebody else to change it, because there is a positive change across the years, as the study shows. But we are hoping that the progressive, slow but promising change should be faster than it has been across this year. So I believe more sensitization, more emancipation, and more training of women is going to be of great importance. And also the fact that women should go a long way to see the importance of the media and try as much as possible to utilize it to their own benefit.
Now, let me ask you this question. Generally speaking, how do women in the Northwest region perceive the media?
I would say, Enes, that if you look at how the women perceive the media, I would say that most of the women actually just like think that the media is just like a channel to get information.
Okay.
And it is just like read or hear about others, whereas they don't know that they themselves, they can as well be the center of attraction in the media. They can portray themselves in the media. And I would rather say that most women are the silent audience in the media. I just give you an example. Most of the times when you run like call-in programs,
Okay.
most of the times it is very few women who call to participate, especially when you are talking about some sensitive issues. If it is entertainment per se, that is when you can get so many women participating in such programs. So the media for a lot more women is just a channel to get information, to get entertained, and to get education.
And let us talk about women in the media, those who practice, in the media in the Northwest region. Are there some specific challenges they face?
Yeah, there are a good number of challenges that women in the media face. Luckily, today we had this workshop with some journalists at the CBC Health Services, and it is training journalists, emancipating journalists to be actively participating as far as disability and inclusion is concerned. So I had the opportunity to talk with a few of the journalists that were there, female journalists. I spoke with some of them on the phone who were not at the workshop. And cutting across, a good number of them told me that the greatest challenge that they face is abuse, is sexual harassment. And most of the time it comes from the people that they go out to get news from, the news sources, their interviewees. And a good number of them also say that most of the times women get minimized. Like you're working in a media house and there is a story, and probably your manager or your editor thinks that as a woman, you are not able to cover this specific story. And some of them also talked about some corrupt perceptions of the society, and I would rather say that it's kind of like stereotype perceptions of the society. We still feel that female journalists most of the times is underlooked upon, and she's like seen as a sex toy with no brains, and probably has lost her calling, as she says, in the world, and still that women in some of the media houses are still regarded as people whose places are in their homes. People you go out to the society to work with as a journalist, they still look up to you as a woman, your places in the home. And this brings me to something that a communication I had with somebody just a fortnight ago. And Ernest, you wouldn't believe it. Sometimes we think that we are covering ground as far as changing the stereotypes and the chauvinistic ideas that we have in men. But then there are still a lot more men who like just try to swallow what we are saying, but deep within them, they still place the women behind them. And the women in the media are actually facing this as a great challenge. And another lady just told me that there is a lot of violence, there is harassment, there is discrimination in leadership positions. And that is why sometimes assignments, as I said earlier, are given to the men rather than to the women. And even when it comes to decision making, they think that the men can make better decisions than the women do. And with sexual harassment on her part, she also noted that sometimes when you're working with some of the men, they always have the tendency of like touching the woman in sensitive parts of the body, and when that's by a male colleague. And especially as a male colleague, when you go ahead and you refuse, you reject their advances, they can treat you real bad.
And talking about stereotypes, I and Dr. Lillian Dangam were just talking about one a while ago, which is the belief that only men do cover hard stories, and the softer stories are meant for women. Is that the case in the Northwest? Do you have women who go for daring stories?
I would say that, honestly speaking, I have really not seen women go for daring stuff per se, it is not very common. A lot more women will just coil into their comfort zones. And most of the time, too, even if they have that habit of daring, and if they get subdued on several occasions by their bosses, they end up like, okay, it's like I can't do it. You know that if you are capable of doing something and somebody continuously makes you to think that you can't do it, there are some people, or a good number of people, a greater percentage of the people will like just give up. And many women are fond of that. They will just like, okay, I can't do it. There are a few women who can say, no, if this man says I can't do it, I will do it and I will prove it that I will do it. But I haven't really seen that in media women per se. And that is why when it even comes to investigative journalism, you will seldom see women go into that kind of real difficult investigative journalism that needs some information in those domains, as you say, daring domains.
Right.
No, they go into some subtle stories and they are comfortable with that.
And Clementina, what has been your personal experience as a female media manager in the Northwest region of Cameroon?
Actually, as a station manager, just to say that I was a pioneer station manager for the Cameroon National Television, that is CNTV.
Okay.
And I believe that people should not confuse it with the Cameroon Radio Television, which is the national station. No, it is a private station, and it is the TV arm of a Bakwa FM radio station that I served with before I started working with the CBC Health Services.
Right.
And I will mention, is that I was made manager when I was at the age of 29, and I will tell you, it wasn't that easy, especially with my male colleagues. Both of them who probably were older than me could openly show the feeling that I was not supposed to be there, even though if you looked at it, I was more qualified than they were, as I would say. But simply the fact that I am a woman, the men will think that, no, she's not supposed to be there. And the men, we know, will always have that domineering attitude, which they will openly prove to you that they are not contented. Sometimes with even the decisions that you take, the men sometimes will like go against some of the decisions that you take. And also my personal experience as far as this topic is concerned, is that if you see that women are underrepresented in the media, it is also sometimes even when you have a program and you need some guests, most of the times you hardly get women who immediately accept to be guests in your program. You need a lot of convincing to have women you have seen that are capable of doing something, women you think that they can change the opinions of the society, that when you invite them for a program, they are like, no, not me, I can't do it. You need to really convince them that, no, they are capable of doing it. And some of them, most of the time, they hold back from media exposure. They don't want media exposure. But then I think it is a big problem. And personally, I worked with a good number of those women, and it is because my programs most of the time focused on women's rights advocacy, health, and many others. So I've come to know a lot about how the women respond to media invitations. I just give you an example. I listened to a program over CRTV Bamenda about a month ago, and there is this group of people. They are coming to talk because you know that we just celebrated the World AIDS Day yesterday.
Right.
As a group of people who are like hairdressers. You know that there are so many women in such groups, but who were the guests in this program? All of them were men. And I like the journalist who posed the question, why are you only men here? And I think that there are so many women who are in your association. And the answer was that they wanted to come with women. They have tried to get women to come with them. And the women are like shy. Oh no, we can talk on the radio. And the man is there, he's so boisterous, he's not perfect. Yet he has taken up the challenge and he's there and he's talking about something that normally is supposed to be a woman to talk about it. So that is a problem. Those are some of the things, and I think that the woman, there has been a lot of educating the woman, but I think a lot still needs to be done as far as women in the media is concerned.
Right. And has numerical weakness been a hindrance to women in the media in that region?
I beg your pardon?
Has numerical weakness been a hindrance to women in the media in the Northwest? And how do you handle this, given the fact that you have more men in the media than women?
Yeah, it is really a weakness in that you know that the media is the only outlet through which the opinions of people are formed. And this means that listeners still form the opinions in their minds that the man or the men are more important. The men take the decisions because it is the men they listen to, it is the men they see. And if women are not there, then it weakens actually public opinion as far as the women folk is concerned.
Clementina, who can change this, government or the media?
I think the media can change this, and the people, we have to talk about now, the people have to change it. It has to be the women to change it.
And are there hopes in the horizon?
I would say there is some hope in the horizon because if we say that women are underrepresented, yes, but it is not the same scenario, it's not the same thing that used to happen. For example, the number of female journalists, it is positive that there are so many female journalists. The number is increasing. It is unlike what used to obtain in the past. And today I had the opportunity to speak with one of the lecturers who teaches in the journalism department in National Polytechnic, Bambui here in Bamenda. And she stated it to me. She noted that the first, the second, the third levels of the Department of Journalism in this institution, a great majority of them are women. It is the thing that upholds in some journalism departments in other universities. So I think that in the future we are going to have more and more women in the media. And Ernest, I would also like to point out to you that, well, even when it comes to the women as news sources, we have, even though it's underrepresented, still there is hope in the horizon. Today I just happened to randomly picked up some newspapers, some of them in number, and I flipped across the pages, and this is what I discovered.
Right.
In the first newspaper, I noticed that there were 24 up-close pictures, 24 of them in one newspaper, and only 3 of them were women. And when it comes to stories that are bylines by women, there were 5 stories by women. That is 2 different women. And most of the women, they will fall in group pictures. And the second newspaper, there were 18 pictures, and only 4 of these pictures were women. And most of the women in this newspaper, appeared in adverts. They're either advertising an institution, they're advertising a product or some other stuff. And some of them were artists. They are coming out in the newspaper as beauty pageants and the like. And in this particular paper, no story was bylined by a woman. And immediately I called the publisher to find out. I called the publisher of the newspaper. He happens to be a Northwesterner. And then he says that most of the women, they prefer audiovisual media.
Okay.
That is why most of them, they run away from the print media and they want to go to audiovisual. That was his answer. And then he indicated the few women that he has they are working under him are typists, they are secretaries, and they are just like auxiliary staff as women. And you won't be shocked. The third paper, 18 pictures, 1 is a woman simply because it's a minister, and it's 1 story bylines by a woman. And the first picture, 24 pictures, 4 women, 2 bylines by women, And these women, even in this newspaper, are students on internship.
Correct.
The question is, after all the training of the female journalists, there is still another problem for us to find out, where do they go? Is it because of the challenges they are facing, sexual harassment and the like, that they are chased out of the profession and they get into something else? Or what is happening? There is that question because there are so many female journalists who are trained, but you don't get to hear or see them.
Interesting findings there from a simple content analysis. And what a beautiful way of painting the media landscape in the northwest region of Cameroon vis-a-vis women representation. Thank you so much, Clementina Yong, for being part of this edition of African Fiesta.
It's my pleasure. It's been my pleasure, and it will always be my pleasure to be part of the program. And thank you very much for having me on your program today.
Thank you, Clementina, and do have a fantastic rest of the day out there in Bamenda. Much education there from two women, Dr. Lillian Dangam and, of course, Clementina Yong, journalist Clementina Yong. All of them are products of the Department of Journalism and Mass Communication of the University of Buea in Cameroon. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful analysis. Thank you so much, ladies. And we do hope to have you again some other time on Apex One Radio. Let's have some music then. We praise to go to Maryland.